From Mothman and Nessie to the spirit that haunts your home. Welcome to Bob After Dark, a podcast about legends, lore, and the supernatural. So turn your lights down and your volume up and enjoy your trip to the shadows.
Hey there, children of the night, and welcome to Bob After Dark, the show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says hello, everything that goes bump in the night. I'm your host with the most that enjoys toast, Bob, and alongside of me, as always, is my ever wonderful, ever vampiric, ever cape-wearing, the heartthrob, and single and ready to mingle ladies on this lovely Valentine's Day Eve, Count Panic himself. Oh, hey there, Count Panic.
Oh, hey, Bob. Ladies, watch out. Here we are. We're on the prowl tonight on Bob After Dark.
Says the one guy in the room who's single.
Well, yes, we're on the prowl here tonight. Bob, this is a big show. I mean, as we filmed this, it's Valentine's Day Eve. It's also... I didn't bring these. These were just laying around from the other shows.
No, that was I actually brought those in for you.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Oh, I didn't even see you.
Yes, I also brought in chocolate. And I laid it on your desk.
Well, I got the chocolate. Thank you.
I left those for you.
You guys got beads too?
Yeah, I broke mine, but yes.
I'll put it on there, Bob.
Yes.
That
is a lovely noise that I'm going to have to leave in because there's no way for us to edit that. That's going to be thrilling.
But you know, Bob, yes, it's a big, big
Mardi
day.
Gras.
Big day, big party. I mean, spooky, right? It has a lot of spooky stories. I don't know what the topic of the show is, but I know there's a lot of spooky shows. I know there's a lot of spooky stories related to the Mardi Gras.
I don't know. It takes place in New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans is, one of the most haunted locations in the world. I do know a piece of lore, though, of Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called the King Cake. And in the king cake, they bake one cake with this plastic baby, and then they put the plastic baby in the king cake.
Dangerous.
And if you get to the plastic baby, you're the king of Mardi Gras.
Wow. But what if you eat the baby?
I'm assuming that happens often.
Well, in the Polish community, we love our punchki. Today's punchki.
That's punchki day. I did get my punchki today. Did you?
I did. What one did you get?
Go to Calumet Bakery every year.
What was what's your filling of choice?
Cherry chocolate cheese custard or
next level
blueberry cheese.
Wow.
What about you?
Man, that's I don't go fancy.
I'm going down the list of the ones I like.
Oh, you're going. I thought you put
them all in one punchki. Yeah,
like an atomic punchki.
No.
I like the chocolate ones. Our banana. For the fruit variation, we'll go banana. For the sweet stuff, we'll get chocolate.
Sounds good. Yeah. And normally I'd ask you how your weekend update was, but because you've already cut to them like 3 times on camera, and people are probably
we only have one camera,
and people are like, "Wow, look who's here," and not saying anything. It's actually me wearing a hoodie that's a Kingdom Hearts hoodie. You guys might be wondering why. Wow, Bob, that's not very spooky of you or classy at all. Why are you wearing a Kingdom Hearts hoodie that you wore to the studio?
Wow.
Well, you see, I wore my shirt into the office this evening, the studio. Called it my office. It's my office. I walk into the office this evening with my shirt that I came in with, and it had pasta sauce all down the front of it that I didn't realize. So I had to throw the hoodie on so I didn't look like I just kind of rolled out of bed in my shirt. I'm going to get so much crap for that. Later. But no, this is my Kingdom Hearts 2 hoodie that I have to wear because my shirt's a disaster underneath this. There's a hole. I didn't even know there was a hole. So it's a monster. Okay, but anyway, so who's actually what I'm trying to point at here is this the on again off again co-host, professional wrestling superstar, paranormal enthusiast, world record holder of fastest bottle throw that hit 100 feet. Steve Michaels himself.
Oh, hey there, Bob.
Oh, hey there, Steve.
That you were digging hard on that last one, weren't you?
Yes, and myself into a hole. All that improv training right down the drain.
It's good to be here, Bob. Even, if you've got your hoodie.
Yes, it's Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, one of my favorite video games.
Spooky.
Listen, my shirt underneath is a nice gray.
I saw it, and it's terrifying how many stains are on it.
I didn't realize, or I wouldn't have worn this out of the house.
Professional podcaster Bob Anderson, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, normally, if it's in podcast land, they don't care what I wear. I could roll up in here in my pajama pants. No one would know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But because we're on JedTV.com, I had to cover up those stains.
Mm-hmm.
I think people wore way dirtier clothes in here in the past. I mean, I think you're good, Bob.
Oh, thank you.
You can take off the hoodie if you want.
No, I'm not going to look like that to my fans.
All right.
So let's go to Panic, how your weekend was real quick, and then we'll catch up to Steve.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, Bob. Again, beautiful weather here in the Midwest. And, I've been thinking about this, Bob. This is probably our fourth or fifth episode consistently on a Tuesday night where we're all here. So this might be a record.
Shut up. Don't. Shut up. I will batter you.
I'm just saying, Bob. We're not. It's very rare we get sports, and then something happens. Somebody's out of town and whatnot. So it's very rare we all get to be together here for another Tuesday night. I'm Bob after dark at 9 p.m. But the weekend was a good one, Bob. How about yours?
My weekend was okay.
Okay.
It was okay.
You had to think about that for a second.
I had to think about that. Dealt with health stuff with Mom for the most part, but when I wasn't, I've been working on my newest venture, which is the Bob After Dark Twitch streams.
Now, this is the video game.
This is the video. I did 3 video game nights and 1 talk show night on Sunday. I'll talk about that here in a minute because it'd be very rude of me to take up the entire time. Do you want to go now?
Oh no, I was just waiting for you to get done with your banter between you and the Count, and this is what the people pay the big bucks to listen to, right?
Yes, the big bucks. That's what puts me in my 10-room mansion in Whiting, Indiana.
A lot of room.
A lot of you don't realize this. Bob lives in an oil refinery, and it is. He's got a nice little office in there. They're still making oil, which is crazy.
They just work around me.
Bob showed up one day and he just never left. He's calling squatters' rights
to an oil refinery. My word. So what's been going on now that I can update my social media stuff that I'm live now? Yeah, because Panic usually talks longer than that.
I'm sorry. Well, Bob,
you didn't know? No, it's too late now. Steve's taking over.
Yeah, now everyone knows how the sausage is made. I think
they think. See, sometimes in this part they think Bob's just goofing around on his phone, but he's sharing things out. Is what
I really am. It's because I don't have my social media is ran by typically me, and I might get some help every once in a while. But it's usually me. The only time you ever chime in is if you find a picture of Grimace.
It's been a while.
Do you know what? I do my part.
Can you just play catch up? We haven't seen you since the Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode that wasn't really a Christmas episode.
It was the last episode of the year.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
No, I've been doing well. I've been
keep going.
No, I've been doing well wrestling. I've been been down at OVW a lot. Was just on OVW's Tough Love pay-per-view.
Was that a Valentine's Day special?
It was like Valentine. It's a wrestling show.
I get it. I get
it.
I'm,
it's whatever the holiday.
I understand.
But that was great. It's always good to go down there, see those guys, see the OVW crew. Al's doing some great things. All the people behind the scenes and in the locker room are doing an amazing job down there, and
that's great.
It's great to continue to be a part of that. I've been doing stuff with Rocket Pro Wrestling out in Joliet, and just kind of taking this month easy. Is this a part of social media as well?
Yes. Let's keep going.
Bob's taking selfies over here. Unbelievable. Mid-show, he's taking selfies. It's a good thing I'm so interesting, Bob.
Yeah, no.
He's ordering a pizza right now.
What?
No, I mean it's been going really well. Enjoying some time off this month.
That's great.
Next month's getting crazy busy and literally going coast to coast and crossing oceans and all that stuff.
Crossing oceans?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna
be?
be?
Halfway.
Where you going?
Going back out to Oos Pro Wrestling out in Honolulu.
You're gonna go
March 28th.
That's exciting.
Always great. Did you know? Here's a fun fact.
I would love to hear a fun fact because I'm almost to that point.
About Hawaii.
Yes.
It is the only state in the union
just keep going.
that does not have dinosaur fossils. The reason is the island is younger than dinosaurs.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So, are you done yet, Bob?
No. Just so that's interesting. I appreciate the fun fact.
Tweeting, TikToking.
I'm putting up on stories.
Mm-hmm. He's twitching over there.
Do you need a?
I'll get to that.
Have you done your thread yet?
No,
Are you on Threads?
I am on Threads.
Do you know what? I'll keep eating up time.
No, that's fine.
You do your Threads.
Okay, so you guys want to hear my update now?
The silence was deafening.
All right, so here's the thing, right? Bob After Dark's Twitch has officially launched. Last Wednesday was the first stream night. We played a game called Sweet Home on the NES, which is like the first real survival horror game. It was the precedence for Resident Evil made by Capcom. I did poorly at it. It was a very hard game, and my chat made me know that I was doing very poor at it. And then Thursday night we did the same thing. Friday we did a pizza party show, which was kind of fun. I played Super Back to the Future 2, and I played another, like a platformer game, Ultimate Chicken Horse, there you go. And then Sunday, we launched the brand new Bob After Dark experience, which is going to be a Twitch exclusive called Beyond the Veil. And Beyond the Veil is special on Twitch where I go on there and I talk about whatever comes to mind, I guess. Sunday night, this past Sunday during the Super Bowl, I went on pretty much right when halftime started, and I started scrolling through eBay looking at haunted items, and I'm like, there is not going to be a single person that watches this. There was a good chunk of people watching me during the Super Bowl. So I could host next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
Fascinating.
Yep, so twitch.tv/Bob After Dark Plays. My schedule there is Wednesdays are retro spooky night gaming, Thursday is modern spooky night gaming, Friday is the pizza party show, which is me kind of playing whatever.
That's just a reason for you to eat pizza on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
On a Friday night, yep.
Yeah.
And then Sunday is going to be the Beyond the Veil. So you guys can check that out on Bob After Dark, Twitch, Bob After Dark Plays, which is really cool.
What about your threads?
Oh, you can follow me on Threads at Bob After Dark.
TikTok? Do you have you've been
Yeah,
doing
you can
any,
follow me. I haven't updated
doing,
the talk in a while. I gotta do that.
You got any good vines out there?
Vine is not a thing anymore. They shut down. What's the next thing? Are you on Friendster? Live Journal is Bob After Dark on Live Journal. Zanga.
How's the Bob After Dark MySpace page doing?
That'd be cool to have that.
Listen. I might just go make a Bob After Dark MySpace page just so I could have a top 8, and you could be one on my top 8.
Maybe.
I decide who's on my top 8. You could be on my top 8. Cal Panic could also be on my top 8.
Wow, thanks, Bob.
Yes, of course.
It's so generous.
So
he's such a kind host.
I try to be. So if this is your first time ever watching or listening to Bob After Dark, we are your weekly-ish show where we talk about legends, lore, supernatural, things that go bump in the night, lights in the sky, weird cryptid stories, and of course, Count Panic's favorite Valentine's Day candy.
Wow. Now, specifically a Valentine's Day candy. That's interesting. Well, but the Reese's Hearts.
The Reese's Hearts?
Yeah, like the heart-shaped Reese. That's a Valentine's. Or Hershey's Kiss, but that's like a full-time around year thing. Specifically Valentine's. How about the little hearts that say messages on them?
The chalk hearts.
Yeah, we'll go with that, Bob. That's a very fun Valentine's Day
Tastes like
candy.
chalk.
Yeah, but it has a cool message on it.
It does, usually.
We'll go
I'm
with
also
that.
the kid that didn't like Fun Dip powder. I only ate the stick out of Fun Dip, and I would throw the powder away.
Wow.
Do you know what? I believe all of this.
I'm not joking with you. I literally would get a pack of Fun Dip, and I would throw it out. I would throw out the powder, and I would just eat the stick.
That's a crime in some counties.
Would you like to share your favorite Valentine's Day candy, Steve?
Yeah. You know those like mixed chocolate heart things? The assorted chocolate thing, you get the heart box.
Oh, like Russell Stover's or something?
Yeah. I like the whole box.
So just chocolate in general.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Valentine's Day?
That counts,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you can, they have all the different flavors and, it's like life. Life is like a bunch of random assorted chocolates. And
I've seen this movie before. His name's Woods Gump, right?
I don't know. I don't like cinema.
Get Out. How can you not like Forrest Gump?
I liked Apollo 13.
That's not the same thing as Forrest Gump.
It's a Tom Hanks film. I like Splash. That's my response to that.
Okay.
That's a good one, too.
That's
yeah.
fine. In case you guys were wondering when we were going to get to the paranormal segments of Bob After Dark, we're getting there. The show
Just stick with us, folks. It's like a surfing. You gotta ride that wave all the way to the end.
So we split the show up into two parts. First part's the weird, spooky news of the week. That's where you, the fans, and me, the Bob, go scouring the internet for the weird, unusual news stories. So anything like
I have
Ghost
news.
Guys-
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got excited
Okay, so
because I don't normally.
that's where
have
you,
news.
the fans, and me, the Bob, go scouring the internet for any of the weird news stories. So anything like ghost sightings, cryptids making it into major media, the odd and extremely bizarre, or advances in science that borderline on science fiction. 9 times out of 10, Steve does not come here prepared.
It's true.
Steve hit me up last night and said, "Hi, are you in the show tomorrow?" "Yeah, I'm in the studio." "I'm going to come prepared. What's the topic?" I
This is
have
true.
never in all of my years, and I thought maybe you were screwing with me.
No, this isn't.
No,
a
you
rip.
legitimately came here prepared.
I got to the studio before Bob.
Now he did get here about 5-10 minutes before me. That
Nice.
is fact. So would you like to go first?
No, do you know what? I'm gonna save it.
Oh no, because I could check the Discord then.
No, I'm gonna let you.
Okay, you can
go
check
first.
the Discord then. You're a mod.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
anyway,
am.
it's in the live discussions thread.
I'm a mod.
You are a mod. There's only 2 mods. I wish Count Panic would jump
I
on.
got to get on that Discord.
I
Bob,
don't-
I'm surprised you didn't mention one fact, though.
What's the fact?
There's going to be an appearance, right? Soon enough of...
I was saving that for the end.
Oh, you're... Okay.
I might as well say it
All
now.
right.
Bob After Dark is going to be speaking.
It would help if we had production meetings.
Yeah,
I feel like you got to hit him with it now, Bob.
Okay, fine. So, jeez. February 24th, that's Saturday, February 24th, Bob After Dark is an official selection at the Dark Matters Podcast Festival in Elgin, Illinois, at the Side Street Studios Theater, which I'm pretty jazzed about. It is like one of the biggest podcast festivals in Chicagoland. It's very competitive to get in there, and I got spot as opening act.
That's
you
great.
go.
Yep. I'm not coming alone, by the way. Steve, you're going to be co-hosting that show with me, and Count Panic will be there too.
Wow, a rare appearance.
A rare appearance of all 3 of us
I'll
in
be out.
like a public appearance, like all at once.
Been a while.
Yeah.
So the Dark Matters Podcast, there's an event on the Bob After Dark Facebook page. Hop over there. Tickets are going to be limited. It will sell out. So if you guys are interested in coming out, make sure you guys get your tickets for the Bob After Dark live experience. Don't ask me what we're talking about yet.
It's gonna be so great. I'm really excited. I'm glad I get to be a part of it. I'm so glad my schedule was open so I could be there, join you, join the count.
Yes, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and for anyone listening, I'm gonna sweeten the pot.
Discount code Bob After Dark ads.
Anyone that comes to this festival
Uh-huh.
to come to see the 3 of us,
Yes.
the 3 amigos,
Yes.
as I like to call ourselves, just to myself, and you show me that you're following me on social media, you will get a free signed 8x10, personalized to you.
That's impressive.
That's a $5 value, free. You're moved, ladies and gentlemen.
So make sure you come out to Elgin, Illinois, Saturday, February 24th. I'm on at 5:30, so be there about 4:30. It's going to be a really good time. I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to go until they play us off.
Yeah, exactly. I think we get an hour to speak. So
Until they play us off with
that's
music.
fair. When Nick is screaming in the background, Nick from Memoriam Development. Anyway, you guys ready to move on to the news?
Sure.
All right. So our first news article.
Did that buy you enough time to do your
No,
your
I mean,
disc thing?
I couldn't because I'm talking the entire time.
Unbelievable.
How am I supposed to juggle? I can't. That's the problem. That's why I have Discord mods to do this for me. Anyway,
But you need more mods.
I have you and I have Vix.
Well, I'm here.
I know that, and that's why you have it open right now.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
But you need to chime in.
Yeah, I'm reading it. Look, everybody, I'm reading everything that you're posting.
It is almost 9:30, and I haven't even started with the news yet. We
I'm
lost
reading-
whatever new viewers we had. They're
It's
gone.
great. Oh, it's fine.
They're gone.
This is good stuff.
They're like,
Bob.
aren't they going to talk
This
about
is
ghosts
such
or
great
something?
Stuff.
We haven't talked about one ghost yet or one cryptid.
No, it's great. We're doing great. Look, if they want to listen, we got it. You can't just be like pitter patter around what this show is. This is the show.
Okay. Are you ready for the first news article of the evening, everybody?
I've been ready 5 minutes ago.
All right. So our first news article, and you're going to laugh, but it's from MSN. Like it's 1996 MSN. This is written by Tim Schuler. Article begins with human bones unearthed from a German cave have altered the timeline of ancient human history. Researchers on the hunt for to settle a long-standing debate ended up rewriting the timeline of ancient human history in the process. For years, archaeologists have argued over the ancient culture with unwieldy title. The Limcombian Razesian. What's that word? What's that word, Steve?
Hittites.
It's what is this?
Don't.
Okay. Anyway, so the scientific word for I knew you were coming, and I'm like, I'm gonna save this for Steve. It's a Limcombian techno complex. We'll just call it that. Even scientists know that's
Jersmanowican?
Sure, Jersmanowican. Jersmanowican
Yeah.
techno complex. Even scientists know that's a mouthful, so they just call it LRJ in short. So the LRJ is character.
That's not on the paper, but continue.
Yeah, it is. So the LRJ is characterized by a creation of specific blades and leaf points which share aspects with both Neanderthal and Homo sapien craftsmanship, which is pretty amazing. But now that they were able to dig up these bones and have it all ready to go, previously thought that scientists thought that the Homo sapiens went extinct right around the time of the Neanderthals. But with this new bone find, because it's not necessarily a direct connection to a Neanderthal, they're saying that missing link, the concept of evolution that we always talk about with Sasquatch, because they were able to find this bone buried that predates the Neanderthal. This could be a Homo sapien bone, which when we say Homo sapien, we talk like early in the food chain as far as our evolution. So this could be a bone of the missing link and rewrite history as we know it. Bigfoot could be real by this pure standpoint, because it's in between and they don't know where it came from. Hashtag panic steak.
That's interesting, Bob. They always talk about the missing link, and I kind of got it here. And they make no mistake about it. Bigfoot is real. But there could be, with this, Bob, the possibilities could be endless, right?
It's nuts. So the human bones that were found in the German cave place Homo sapiens in Europe 7,500 years earlier than experts thought.
Which is fascinating.
That's insane.
That's
a
actually very
long.
fascinating.
That is.
Break that down.
As far as our evolution's concerned, that's an insane amount of time that just disappeared. I don't know the exact number of how long we've been on Earth as far as human life, but the fact that we can now date ourselves back even farther with like a missing link in the evolutionary chain is insane.
Yeah.
Does Steve want his own take?
No, but I will give mine.
Okay.
I've been busy.
That's fine. You're modding. You're doing your job. That's good.
Doing doing my mod duties.
Yes, go on.
I think it's a fascinating thing that like we're able to find these things still. I think generally speaking, the general population of the globe just assumes that we know everything that we need to know about us and our evolution and the growth of Homo sapiens and that whole tree. But in reality, there's quite a few gaps that we still don't know, and we use the term missing link, but there's a lot of other smaller gaps as well.
Yes.
Amongst human evolution. So it's fascinating to find that there's some evidence of one of those missing links.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on. This next article comes to us from Oddity.
Is this one from like Encarta?
What?
You did one from MSN. I just
yeah, it's nice EQ, No, this one's from Oddity Central. Chinese scientists create world's first AI child. A group of and this is written by Spooky, by the way, same person who writes all the Oddity Central articles. I wish I knew what to call you, but you only sign your articles as Spooky. But anyway, a group of Chinese scientists have claims to have created the world's first AI child, an entity displaying behavior and capabilities similar to a 3 or 4-year-old human. Named Tong Tong, or Little Girl, the world's first AI child is considered a massive step in the direction of AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Unveiled at the Frontiers of General Artificial Intelligence Technology exhibition, the innovative AI model is reportedly capable of autonomous learning and may display a level of emotional engagement that has not been seen in an AI development until now. According to her creators at the Beijing Institute for General Artificial Intelligence, or the BIGAI, Tong Tong continually improves her skills and known through interaction with humans and exploration. Tong Tong possesses a mind and strives to understand the common sense taught by humans. A promotional video shown during the exhibition said, she discerns right from wrong, expresses her attitudes in various situations, and has the power to shape the future. During last month's Beijing exhibition, jeez, I can't talk, I can't say that word. Say that word, Steve.
Exhibition,
that's the word.
Yeah,
exhibit. I'm just going to say exhibit.
You said it right the first time.
I know, it just doesn't sound right. Anyway, visitors can interact with the little girl and observe her behavior based on her programming. For example, when programmed to prefer her surroundings tidy, the virtual avatar will fix a crooked photo on the wall and bring a stool to climb up on to reach the frame if it was too high. If someone spilt milk during the simulation, she would bring a rag and clean it up. However, one main thing that set Tong Tong apart from other AI creations is that she has the power to independently assign tasks to herself based on her own values and ideals. Her creators claim that she is capable of autonomous learning and has her own joy, anger, and sorrow. Little Girl can interact with people through facial expressions, gestures, and conversation. She is capable of identifying and communicating a variety of feelings like happiness, anger, and sadness, as well as reacting appropriately to others' emotional states. Although she currently has the abilities and behavior of a 3 to 4-year-old, Tong Tong is evolving and improving continually. To advance towards general artificial intelligence, we must create entities that can comprehend the real world and possess a wide range of skills, Director Zhu Shengcheng said. Hashtag Panic's take.
Yeah, this is, we talk about the AI and the future of AI and how, just crazy it is. And it's kind of spooky in a sense. And this is extra spooky, Bob. An AI child. Wasn't there just a movie or a demonic robot girl?
Megan.
Megan, yes.
So I could see this turning into a Megan situation, Bob, where this AI child just, you don't want to trust it.
I wouldn't be doing my mod duties if I didn't point out that on the Bob After Dark Discord, which you all can join, Kristen mentioned that this is one step closer to a real-life Megan.
Hey.
Yes, hey, good job, Kristen.
And we're on the same brain length there.
Yeah, Megan was an interesting movie. Not AI child, as it was more of like a killer doll movie. What I will tell you, though, is that Microsoft tried this years ago. I don't know how familiar you guys are with video game knowledge and stuff, but many years ago at E3, Microsoft showed off Milo, which was this interactive boy AI that had the same capabilities as what this Tongtong's able to do, but 10, 15 years ago. I can't remember the exact year, but it was brought out by that Peter Mayhew guy. Not Peter Mayhew, that's Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Peter, I can't think of his name, but the guy who created Fable, British guy. He put out Milo and apparently lied to all the investors that Milo couldn't do half the stuff that they were claiming he could do. But it's terrifying because now 10 plus years later, however long it's been since Microsoft showed off Milo, we now have Tongtong. And that's terrifying to me because this child's able to develop emotion. And the scariest part about that, autonomous learning. That thing does it by itself. Because, people are worried about like the Chat GPT and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Chat GPT is it only knows what its programmers set its limitations to learn. So you go on there, it makes for a good like grammar bot, but that's about it. I'm not concerned about Chat GPT like being mad at me and killing me in my sleep. This child AI just is one step closer to, Terminator, Future, or iRobot, Blade Runner, fill in the blank. We have a caller.
We do have a caller.
Take the caller live.
Take it live.
All right, hold on, caller. Don't say your name.
Could be anybody.
Is it John?
Yeah, but it's not John from Wisconsin, Bob.
It's John from East Chicago. Hey there, John.
You know what? You gotta fill in Steve. How you doing, Steve? Nice to see you back.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
And you know what Steve doesn't know is we got a caller. Your Bob's been on a roll the last few weeks with callers, Steve. I don't know if you know that or not.
I've been doing my mod duties and seeing that.
This is the first time he has logged into Discord. I think since I made him. No, I lied.
It's on my
his
phone.
Third.
It's on my phone.
It's his third time being in the Bob After Dark
I
Discord.
usually use it to promote myself, but
Yeah.
regardless.
No problem. Go. Do your thing.
Yeah, he's been having about 6, 7, 8 calls the last few shows, and there is a John from Wisconsin that's been calling, so that's why he referred with John and Emma. But hey, happy Valentine's Day, happy Mardi Gras, happy Punchki Day to you guys.
Oh
and,
yes, did you get your punchki today, John?
Yeah, I had a chocolate one.
Oh boy, that's the way to go.
Chocolate one from Elmira, so it's pretty good.
It's Dragon Van
But,
Til. We're in the studio.
It'll do.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But getting back to this robot, is it specifically what is it specifically used for? I mean, you mentioned some of the things it could do, but is it a government, Chinese government type of thing, or is it something that
AI is the
What can
future.
be-
Pump as much money as you can into the projects. To what these can be. I don't think they're building it for purpose at the moment. I think they're building it for what it can be.
Okay, so I mean, all right. So then, specifically, it's not built to as far as the Chinese government is concerned, to aid them in some kind of conflict or something like that,
I can't say. Keep in mind, I'm not a conspiracy theory show, so I'm not. This might touch on that a pinch, but it's more than just the Chinese government. Every government. Most governments in the world are probably doing something with AI at this point, and most major scientists in the world, if they're in robotics, are putting research into AI because it is our future. Whether or not we like it or not at this point, I don't think we could stop that gear from turning. It's just, are we ready for a kill switch if we need it? So why develop it? Because they can, and because they're interested to see how far we can go until, we have real big problems.
Well, okay, you had a key word there, and I guess that's why the reason I'm calling through is why did they develop it? I mean, if you say other government entities have it, or probably could get it, or probably could, why is I guess China's always in our news, but as far as conflict stuff like that, I mean. So I thought maybe this was specifically built there to, let's say to do harm to other countries or something, or find out something about other countries or something like that,
Absolutely. Well, thanks for calling in, John.
All right, Bob, and you guys take care, and we'll see you later.
We appreciate you, John.
Always good hearing from you.
Sure.
Yes. Do we have another caller?
We do not, Bob.
Oh, okay.
Here's my thing.
Yes.
these are learning. You know, this
Yes.
this robotic AI is learning.
Yes.
There's a very real possibility that because it can teach itself how to prevent itself from being shut down.
Yes.
You know, it's I guess like think of like Ultron.
Yes.
Right?
No, 100%.
It could very much teach itself like, hey, this is how they have the kill switch. Okay, well let me learn how I can circumvent it.
Right.
And that is terrifying.
It is a very terrifying thought. One of my favorite movies in the entire world is Blade Runner, right? And we are that close to like actual replicants being a thing. We are so close.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, in my lifetime, I will see a fully walking autonomous AI something. I will see that in my
it's
lifetime.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
And the world's going to turn into this AI controlled thing in some capacity.
Right.
And it's just a matter of time before we're all living in VR and there's no such thing as reality, right? I'm not one of those people who are like, boo technology. I use ChatGPT for editing purposes on grammar and stuff, so I'm no better, but there's a certain level to where you have to stop and be like, are we pushing this too far?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the plan is to make it a child, but I can tell you that, like, I don't know. It's a terrifying thought. I'm just going to move on from it.
Scientists did all of it thinking about if they could.
If they could.
Not if they
They
should.
should. Yep. Whether or not you like AI is one thing, but the second that AI starts trying to figure itself out, it becomes a terrifying question.
Yeah.
If it starts acting like a human, which is questioning its existence because we all do every day when we wake up in the morning, once we start teaching an AI that what is my purpose and why do I exist is the point of no return, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man, and that's just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Anyway, let's move on. Last news story from Bob for the evening. You know what? I'm not. We're going to listen to your news story.
You're going to listen to mine?
Yeah, we're going to listen to yours instead.
'Cause
Mine was talking about mummified monkey heads.
Wow.
So
I
yours is
did see that story.
Oh, did you? And you didn't pick it then?
I did not.
Well, just that'll have to come later. Yeah, because we have to get to the story at some point.
Yeah, we'll do mine. I've been busy over here modding my butt off.
Oh, yeah, you're modding, all right. If you're missing the Discord chat right now, everybody, it's Steve giving Bob facts in the chat.
It's true. I went old school on this. It's been a
Jeez.
long time since I've given out Bob facts, but
Lovely.
Bob facts are exclusive to the Discord.
Yes, so you guys can learn those. But anyway, go on, Steve.
Okay, my news of the week, because I came prepared. UFO map reveals extraterrestrial hotspots across the U.S. This is from the my pages. This is from the New York Post. And this article is written by Isabel Keene of the New York Post. Reputable source, that New York Post.
Reputable source.
Article starts off by saying, it seems like aliens like to party in Las Vegas too. Data shared by the National UFO Reporting Center shows the U.S. hotspot for UFOs is Lincoln County, Nevada. Lincoln County saw the most UFO sightings across all U.S. counties between 2000 and 2023 at 820.9 sightings per 100,000 residents, the nonprofit reported. And this is taken from data compiled by Axios. The county is notably home to the top secret military base known as Area 51.
Yep, I was waiting for you to get to that.
Which has long been associated with unknown phenomenon. East Coast hotspots included upstate New York's Hamilton County with 451.9 sightings per 100,000, and Dare County, North Carolina, with 371.4 sightings per 100,000 residents. The center, which operates off user-submitted reports of unidentified aerial phenomenon, says nearly 113,000 alien sightings have been submitted
alien or UFO?
It says
Okay.
alien in the article, but
Okay,
it's
they
UFO.
mean UFO. Okay, I was going to say that's a
Yeah.
lot of actual.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
UFO sightings. Have been submitted between the years 2000 and 2023.
Okay.
So this is a 23-year span.
Sure, that's a lot of sightings in 23 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The states with the most sightings in 2023 were California with 440,
That doesn't surprise me. Okay, go on.
Florida with 293,
That's a hot spot usually.
Texas, another hot spot,
Yeah.
with 230, Washington State with 212, and New York with 156, the center reported. Overall, the sightings reported in 2023, which was 4,186, were down 19% from 2022, which had a number of 5,174 reported sightings.
You want to know what I find interesting about? Oh no, go on. I thought you were done.
No,
Okay, go on.
the the article goes on about some very specific sightings in Texas and Utah, but I went on to this Axios map, and I'll make sure that we get a link on our Facebook and Discord
Yes.
to this map, because it breaks it down county by county, so you can physically explore the entire United States and see. You can find your own county and see what the sightings in your county are. That being said, because of where we are located, I decided to look at a couple very specific county numbers.
Okay.
And these are the numbers, again, between 2000 and 2023.
Okay.
In Cook County, here in Illinois,
Yeah.
that's where Chicago is located. For those of you outside of the area, there were 1,409 sightings in that 23-year period.
Okay.
That breaks down to 27.0 sightings per 100,000 residents.
Okay.
In Lake County, Indiana, where we are currently in studio, for those of you not familiar, literally right over the state line, adjacent to
Chicago
Cook County.
land.
Yeah, Chicagoland area. Lake County, Indiana, 138 sightings, but because it is a smaller, less populous county than Cook, the breakdown is actually a higher percentage.
Right.
And it's 27.7 sightings per 100,000 residents.
That's impressive.
The U.S. average is 34.3 sightings per 100,000 residents. Now, obviously, there's some outliers which skew this way up. The Lincoln County in Nevada way skews this number.
Oh, of course.
But I think it's very fascinating to actually see this, and to physically look at this map and just see what the breakdown is. Because if you actually physically look at the map, the western part, the southwest, from like Texas west,
Yeah.
the sightings skyrocket. Which is bizarre. And then also in the northeast, I'm talking from Delaware, Vermont, Maine.
Right.
Massive numbers.
Do you think, because what I was going to say before, it's interesting because I'm looking at the map right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of those chunks of area are near large bodies of water. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, Well, Washington's a big hot spot. When you're telling me California, Vegas makes sense because, desert, Area 51, right? And you got all that other stuff going on there. But then I look at Maine, Vermont, New York.
Yeah, it's what I find interesting is a lot of the areas, and again, we'll share the map so you all can see exactly what we're seeing, and you can explore it yourselves. The fascinating thing is a lot of this is either desert area or area that are forests.
Yeah, isolated or
these are a lot of areas that don't have large population centers,
right?
Which you can read into that how you want, but it's kind of an interesting side note to this whole thing.
Yeah, that is fascinating. Hashtag panic stake.
Yeah, you know what? We never had really a full breakdown. I'm no mathematician there, Steve, but there's a lot of numbers, and I feel like we got to get the board out and get some things going on there.
I'll get all Kornacki up in this place.
But I think that's some good stats right there. I mean, nobody's ever took the time, I think, to break that stuff down, and it's kind of nice to have, something that we could look at. Maybe, all those skewed in some sense, something that we could have to see where all the sightings are at.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, I'm going to make sure that this is linked straight to all of the social media so that everyone can see it. I'll share the link to the Discord.
Good moderation.
Imminently. But take a look, because you can look at each individual county and see. And it's the fascinating thing about this, Bob, is that it's not just because there's a major population center doesn't mean that it has a higher percentage of sightings, which I think is interesting.
That is interesting. I appreciate that because, when you hear about things, you kind of get a general idea in your head of when I think alien sightings or UFO sightings, I think desert. I think that's the first thing that comes to most people's minds.
Yeah.
And then deep, wooded mountainy areas. You get a lot of UFO activity in the Appalachia area, right around West Virginia area. You get a lot of those weird cryptids there that they believe are more alien-like than cryptid-like. But so that's fascinating to me, and I think it's interesting that there were that many sightings in Lake County, Indiana. Blows my mind.
138 in 20. It's over 23 years, but it's
still good chunk for here because most people here aren't
looking for them.
No, that's not a thing.
And again, this is an area much like Cook County. We're in flight paths.
Yes.
We're very familiar with what planes look like.
Exactly.
We're very familiar with the flight patterns and what a Southwest jet going to Midway.
Of course, and
like.
it's not like we're not used to military things either because we have the Coast Guard base right here on the southeast side on the border of Indiana, Illinois,
right.
And you have the naval base in Waukegan. Yeah, and that's not far away aerial at all.
Right, and we've got Gary airports right there. It's not uncommon for planes to be landing there.
Exactly. So we're used to this kind of a thing. So it's interesting.
We're in the flight path of the air show.
We are, yes. So it's interesting that people are able to make the difference between plane and being that's not a plane. That's what I find interesting.
Yes.
All right, we have a caller on the line. You're on the air, caller.
Take it live here.
Hello there.
Hi there, caller.
How you doing, Bob? This is Rudy.
Hey, Rudy, thanks for calling in, buddy. Where are you calling from?
Chicagoland.
Chicagoland. What's going on, Rudy?
Just calling to let you guys know I'm enjoying the show. Very nice to see Mr. Steve over there. I like to see the back and forth you guys are giving each other. Very entertaining so far.
If this is your first time watching an episode where Steve co-hosts, you can be in for anything.
Yes, absolutely.
I like to keep it fresh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I say, you guys are really good playing off each other. It's kind of like you guys know each other really, really well, like you're friends or something.
Yeah, I would say so. It's not like I randomly found Steve on the street one day and been like, "Do you want to co-host a paranormal radio and podcast?"
He was behind me in line at Dunkin', and I was like,
"Do you like ghosts?"
And I was like, I do like ghosts.
Yeah, do you like ghosts? I like ghosts. Well, my co-host just bailed on me on this radio show. My producer
went back to Australia. I don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, right. Miss you, Anthony. But it's do you just want to co-host a show with me? That's the origin story. That's our new origin story.
That's it.
I believe it.
Well, thanks, Rudy, for calling in. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. You guys have a great rest of the night. Can't wait till you get to the paranormal stuff. That's the stuff that's really
we gave you news story.
This was
No, the news
UFO.
stories
We just
are great,
told- we
but,
just-
you know,
Thanks, Rudy. We appreciate you.
have a great night.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
It picks up an hour in, really. We gotta get started. You know?
It's
Let 'em cook.
like a steam engine. You gotta get it up to speed first.
Or you're cooking something in the crock pot. You see it. You could throw it in the oven and it'll get done a lot quicker. Or you could throw it in a crock pot and it takes like 6 hours to cook.
You gotta let us cook. Let us cook.
Do you want microwave or do you want the good brisket? That's all I'm asking.
I don't want a brisket, period.
Okay,
vegetarian.
well, we'll get you the vegan. Oh, I can't even say that.
All right, folks. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for a break. You ready for a break? Are you ready for a break? Whatever. Count, you ready for a break?
Yeah, let's do it. Bob.
All right, folks. Live fans, stick around. We'll be right back. And for the podcast fans at home, stick around. You're about to be hearing words from a podcast that you should be listening to. Stay tuned.
This is Mike.
This is Jacob.
And this is Matt,
We are Moth Boys.
a podcast on cryptids, conspiracies, and the unknown.
Unknown.
You can catch us every other Monday on actually wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Thank you.
And we're back. Oh, hey there, Count Panic.
Oh, hey there, Bob.
What did you do during break?
During the break, you would be proud to know I sampled every piece of Valentine chalky hearts that you could have out there. And boy, oh boy, do I need a drink of water.
That's
He gave me one that said "Eat me." I don't.
They have those out there, yeah.
you know,
What'd you do, Bob?
I did something interesting.
What?
I took up chocolate molding.
What?
As a hobby during break. Yep. You know how you mold chocolate, right?
Yeah.
I made a 1/1 Mothman statue out of chocolate.
Amazing.
Yep, that's what I did during
Did
breaks.
you eat it?
I just made it sitting on display
Oh.
at the Bob Anderson Museum of Awesome.
Where's that at?
It's somewhere.
Did you start squatting at the mascot
In
museum?
the Mascot Hall of Fame.
Why can't they give you your own wing over there? You know?
Listen, when the Mascot Hall of Fame was being built, this is a true story. I'm not ribbing you. I went to the director of the museum and I said, what's it going to take for you to put a statue in here of me? Because I am more or less the mascot of the city, or I was when I was a little bit more
Bob,
active.
yeah.
You know, and they're like, no, Bob, we can't do that. I'm like, I will get you a mannequin and we'll dress it up in some spare Ghostbuster parts. And Bob Anderson can be in this mascot.
You have stake in that city.
I do, technically. I'm a voter. They should be kissing my butt. But, Steve, what did you do during break?
I modded my butt off, Bob.
You modded in a Discord, man. There better be more than 2 posts. If I was able to pick up chocolate modeling and Count Panic tried
All the chalky hearts.
all the chalky hearts.
I started my own Discord. It was great. It was the Steve at Dusk fan page. It's going great.
That's wonderful.
All 3 followers are all about it.
Yes. All right. So, I'm going to segue into our lore of the week. I hope you're ready for this. Are you ready for this? Are you paying attention to me? Oh, he's busy. Count, are you ready to dive into the lore
I'm
of the
ready,
week?
Bob, let's do it.
All right. So, what is something that we all share in common?
The fear of death.
I'm not afraid of death.
The
We all use roads.
Oh, I was going to say drink water.
We all poop.
We all use roads. And so we're talking about roads this evening. I know it's a terrible segue. No, so last week we talked about haunted bridges in Indiana, which was a really cool topic. So I was like, I wonder how many like different tropes there are that are haunted other than like bridges, you know, and you could go online and find haunted bridges all over the country, all over the world, apparently. I had no idea. But there's, you know, it's an interesting thing because you never think of the topic this week as being haunted, or maybe you hear like one story, but it's a very common trope amongst the entire world, and that's the concept of a haunted stretch of road or a walking trail. and you wonder why is that a thing? So I found what is probably the most haunted walking trail type thing. I don't know what you would actually call it. There's more people hike it, but I do know people can drive it as well. So let's call it a trail for now, but a road trail. And
you can only drive it partially.
Yes. So we'll just call it the Blue Mist Road. And that is located a little north of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
Yep, the other P word.
It's 10 miles north of downtown Pittsburgh.
Yes. So before we begin on the spooky stuff, yeah, I'm proud of you. I actually have some interesting tidbits about the trail itself before we begin. This is from myhikes.org, which is probably the one and only time that they'll ever get me to log into this website.
I can be assured in saying that we have never cited them.
I have never, and I don't think I ever will cite them again. But the Blue Mist Road Trail in Gibsonia, Pennsylvania is an easy 3.8 mile out and back trail that leads through the Irwin Run Conservation Area. This old closed off road, Irwin Road, has various urban legends that stem from the spooky mist that rolls onto the road every evening. And since the trail is located next to North Park, the mist from the lake, the North Lake Park, rolls into the ravine every evening. Long story short, they say that this is an easy trail to walk up and down. So if you want to get to actually walk this place, you can. And there's amenities. You could bike and you could bring your dog. Oh. It's 3.8 miles long and difficulty easy. And
do they have a website?
It's myhikes.org.
I wasn't sure if the park itself had a website.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about it. You might be like, why is Bob reading us like these weird things? So I found an article.
You did research from the same place? Continue.
Oh, I'm just about to ruin your research, aren't I?
No, it's okay.
Okay. So Weird US, they are a super popular book series, website, blog. If you go to any of your local Barnes & Noble or whatever bookstore, chances are you will find a book written in the state that you're in that says weird fill in the blank. You gave me a copy of Weird Illinois.
Yeah.
And I think Count Panic one year for a gift gave me a Weird Indiana.
Yeah.
So I have a couple.
I have weird books from like at least 8 states.
Yeah, any state. The writer of those books, I've never met the guy, but he is super into this stuff. I don't ever quote him enough because it's very easy to quote him. It's like me trying to use Tim Benall news articles. I just do it all the time.
Hey, which we didn't today.
I haven't done in the past few weeks, believe it or not. Yeah, exactly. I love Tim Benall. I never met the guy. If he probably ever met me, he'd be ready to beat me. But if it wasn't for you, Tim, I wouldn't have survived like 6 months of my career here. But Weird US has their website, and they have stories. Literally every haunted story you could think of and you can't think of has probably been documented by Weird US. And next to the Weird US people, Atlas Obscura. Yeah, I use them a lot for research too. But Weird US has a really good write-up, and I'm going to read it for you guys. The Tales of the Blue Mist Road. And by the way, depending on what article you read, some people spell mist M-Y-S-T, and some people spell it M-I-S-T.
I believe the official spelling is M-I-S-T.
Yes, but some people spell it M-Y.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing
like
that out.
like the drink.
Drink?
Yeah.
D-R-I-N-K.
You remember that?
Drink.
You remember the drink Mist?
Oh,
wasn't
Sierra Mist.
No, I thought. What am I thinking? No, I'm thinking Mystic. Mystic.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Never mind. Continue.
Jeez. M-Y-S-T-I-C, guys. Mystic. You're such a terrible person. Thanks for being a co-host. Okay, anyway, let's move on.
So rude.
Oh, I love you. You know that. All right. Tales from the Blue Mist Road. There's something about headlights casting shadows on the road at night that stimulates the imagination. Roads, especially dirt roads with no street lights, reveal shadows that can easily contain any of mystery, a wild animal, a ghost, a malevolent cult, or anything strange and threatening. Of course, if you happen to be driving along such a road with a group of friends, the tales get all the wilder. And that's exactly what happened with the Blue Mist Road in Pittsburgh's North Park. To some, the mystery is more important than the mist, and they spell it Blue Mist Road, M-Y-S-T. The legend that surrounds this stretch of road are as varied as the Western Pennsylvania imagination. Like Trojan War or Mount Olympus to the Greeks, it has become a convenient receptacle for any tale ranging from obvious campfire yarns and recycled urban legend to legendary material with more heft and style. But always, it comes back rolling to a mist that appears at night on a dirt road near the lake in North Park. After the mist rolls in, the tales of diverge in the woods. There's something about the headlights casting shadows on the road at night that stimulates the imagination. And it's very interesting to be able to say that. You're driving along and that paints a picture for you driving on a dirt road. So interesting to, kind of paint that picture for you guys.
It's fascinating.
Yes, it is. You sound so fascinated by my story there.
No, it's great. You are like an orator.
Oh, thank you.
You are.
I read that from Weird USA.
It was so much gravitas.
Yes. By the way, folks, I'm going to quick disclaimer. There is some unfortunate past with this place, and I'm going to cover it. But I want you guys to know that I don't condone this kind of activity by any means. In fact, I really don't like people that do this kind of a thing. But I'm going to talk about it just so we're on this, it's a little bit more sensitive than normal things we talk about. The classic local legend about the Blue Mist Roads is that the KKK used to hold rallies there at night and would unfortunately end people on the gnarled tree on the side of the road. It's a good scary tale, but it lacks the ring of truth. Given the strong century-long abolitionist tradition in the Commonwealth, it seems unlikely that a group of members of said organization would have established a stronghold there. Besides, the tree that's most often associated with the tale seems to be singularly unsuited for the task, so that's all we're going to say. So that's a good way to end that one. So people, it's an easy thing to just be like, well, why is this haunted? Well, you know that the Ku Klux Klan used to do like rallies here. Well, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
No, in fact, most people here weren't a big fan of that in general.
It was a very, very strongly northern town.
Exactly.
Something like that wasn't going to easily fly.
No, so I kick off the story with that because it's very funny how some people, you could turn this old road into this, and then the next legend, it'll be something completely different.
Right.
There are several houses on the road, one of them now a ruin, only with the foundation intact. In the firmament of storytelling, legends have spouted up about other houses too. One they say used to be occupied by a witch, and another called a little person farm.
That's not what it was called.
I'm not going to use that term. All the usual short personville stories apply to the house, including the one in which groups of angry armed people would attack your car. As far as we can tell, these tales are just good ways to scare your car mates, though apparently a resident of one of the houses would load rock salt into shotgun cartridges and fire them at nighttime trespassers. That I could believe. This type of attack is loud, scary, and will cause extensive damage to the paintwork of a car. But it causes no serious personal injury, at least nothing more serious than you'd be getting falling onto an asphalt surface. That's wrong. I could tell you that too. It stings, grazes, and teaches you a lesson without causing actual bodily harm. The lesson in question is stay away, a message that is reinforced by the road closed signs at both ends of the street. Nevertheless, people do drive and hike down the road at night, and drivers claim that if you park and honk your horn 3 times, the engine won't start up again. And when you consider that people live off the road, it's antisocial to honk your horn at night anyway. Now, for us that were paying attention to last week's episode, which I know you didn't listen to, we covered haunted bridges, and one of the legends where that if you go on a covered bridge and you honk 3 times, that a ghost girl would appear.
Yeah, it's a very common trope.
Yep, honk your horn 3 times. This time it'll just kill your engine.
Yeah,
I don't recommend that in this day and age.
It's always 3.
Yeah,
it's never just honk it twice or honk it once. It's very specifically 3.
Yes.
What happens if you honk it 4 times?
It turns back on. I don't know. All the stories are pretty much standard fare for nighttime traveler with a car full of thrill seekers, but one is more unusual. There is a cemetery near the road with tombstones that lead towards each other. Some say that the occupants of the grave were thwarted lovers and that the stones are trying to kiss to consummate the love between them. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Wow.
In some tales, the stones actually do meet once a month on the night of the full moon. and other variations the stones do not meet, because if they did, it would bring about the end of the world.
There's
two
that's
extremes here.
a
That's two extremes. Oh, two lovers died and their headstones are trying to kiss. If they touch, then the world's gonna end.
I feel like that one was started by just like that one guy that was just sitting by himself in a train station. It's like, if it touches, the world will end. If they touch, the world will end. And people are like, what is he talking about? And they're like, those tombstones, and then
I need to point this out. Out of any end of the world situation I've ever covered on the show,
that'd be the coolest.
This seems like the most preventable. You know how I fix this? I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna move the headstone about 8 feet to the right, or behind, or in front of it.
I'm gonna put some bracing underneath
bracing
it.
That's gonna, and there's
I'm gonna put some sand underneath.
Exactly. I'm not gonna steal the headstone. It'll still be in the cemetery, but we're just gonna put them, because even if they fall, they're not going to touch. There, I just saved the world, everybody. Yeah. You can send me a check later.
Heroes would have been so quick if that's all that was. There's a deep cut TV reference for everybody listening.
I don't remember Heroes at all. I know the show existed. Yeah. I don't remember it. But these tales were good, but most people who visit North Park or Irwin Road, to give it its proper name, it's just a great hiking road. It's marked and closed off at both ends, though it's car accessible for a few hundred twisting yards before the barricades block it off. Past the barrier, it degenerates quickly into a winding gravel path by a creek with the occasional no trespassing sign and a notice about buried petroleum and gas pipelines. On a quiet spring day, you can see a deer or a wild turkey, and I'm not talking about the whiskey, on or near the road, with only the murmuring of the creek to disturb them. On a dark, moonless night, however, it's another story altogether. What do you think so far about our lovely road?
Have we used the term hooey recently?
I haven't got to the good stuff yet.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only just been just debunking everything. I have accounts that I'm going to talk about later from people that live there.
Okay.
That live near it.
I am saying
hooey. So 3 roads diverge. I have walked the Blue Mist Road at night, and the house is back off the road. I came across 3 paths leading off the road with 1 rusty mailbox. My companions told me that one of these paths led to the Short Person Farm and the Witch House, but nobody was able to confirm that. We saw car headlights coming on our way from the driveway, so we got out of there as fast as we could. That was quoted by a mystery person.
Spooky.
Tales of Mist and Imagination. There's an old tale on the North Hills I once read called The Legend of the Blue Mist Road.
These are all, just for clarification, these are all stories.
I just said that.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I literally just said I have testimonies for you.
I thought that was going to be later.
No. I'm like right now.
Okay. No, I'm with you now.
There's an old tale of the North Hills I once read called The Legend of the Blue Mist Road, but it reads more like a campfire ghost story than a real story. The area was always surrounded by horror stories, some about a rabid dog roaming around, some are tales of cults and mutilated animals being discovered and so forth. But this doesn't put off teenagers going to the quiet road to park. One young couple went there and for a joke, and the boy honked the horn 3 times before they began to, canoodle. As if in the answer to the horn, a claiming bell began to ring out, and when the boyfriend panicked to try to start the car, the engine was dead. Nothing happened, and the clanging went on. Thoroughly rattled, the boy popped the hood of the car and went to see what he could see. When he slammed the hood down again, a white hunting dog leaped on it and began dashing itself against the windshield, terrifying the girl in the car. It dashed itself unconscious or dead on the hood. All was silent for a while, and the girl got out of the car, too frightened to stay alone, but afraid of what she might find outside. The car began clanging, and she turned to see a dark mark on the roof of the car. She looked up to see her boyfriend hanging from a limb from a nearby tree, the blood dripping on the car roof. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but it's a great way to get in the mood to drive up there. This is from Eddie. Now tell me if that doesn't sound like every other spooky trail story.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah, we actually covered it on the popular campfire stories.
I was on that one.
Yeah, you missed being here, so we were talking about it on the phone. So I told the story of the Hookman.
I remember
and
that.
Tell me that doesn't sound Hookman-like.
That's exactly the Hookman story.
I mean, it's a little different though. In this case, the variation is that there's a white hunting dog, and they painted some marking on the road of the car or the roof of the car.
Yeah, I mean, but
that's a long time to paint a sigil on top of
the beats are all there.
Yeah. So
hashtag hooey.
Hooey, folks. Hashtag
hooey. Hashtag hooey.
Next one is from A. Oakley. I parked up on the Blue Mist Road and walked with some buddies to see what would happen. We weren't kidding around. We weren't kidding around honking the horn. We were just shooting the breeze on a summer night, observing. On a few occasions, we thought we heard something, but nothing conclusive. But we did see some unusual lights. The only light we could explain, though, was moonlight with little green light of fireflies. This light I saw was larger and blue, hovering in the distance and then fading away. It couldn't have been a flashlight because it faded out in a very distinct way, like a firefly or a cling light. Last one is the Kissing Stones. The cemetery near the Blue Mist Road is old, with worn out and very thin gravestones. You can't read the names on them. My friend took us there, and we saw 2 gravestones leaning towards each other, which were supposed to be the stones of 2 former lovers. They weren't touching, but, if they actually touched, they end the world. We talked about that. So this is just a local sharing that story. If you can't read the headstones, you can't assume the 2 headstones are trying to kiss because they're lovers.
You could assume anything you want. That doesn't mean it's not hooey.
How many cemeteries have you hung out in your life? Because I could tell you I've hung out in a lot. Yeah. How many times when you get to an older cemetery that you'll see gravestones like bend towards one another?
Yeah.
It's common because they're
that's
old.
a natural
it's
thing.
Just
the ground settles.
Yeah. I just want to know where one person came up with the concept that, yeah, they're trying to kiss. That's really sweet. And then they're like, yeah, during the full moon, they actually do kiss. We got a caller.
We got a caller, Bob.
You're on the air, caller.
Hey, it's Kristen.
Hey, Kristen. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Chicago.
Hello, Kristen from Chicago. What's on your mind tonight?
The Hookman story. I'm, from just a little east of you in LaPorte originally, and we also had a Hookman in LaPorte.
I had no idea Northwest Indiana had its own Hookman story. Please tell me right now.
Bob is starting his car right now.
It was literally like word for word what you were mentioning from what they said for the Blue Mist Road. It was word for word to basically accept the dog for what happens on Hookman Road in LaPorte.
Where's Hookman Road in LaPorte, Kristen?
It's in LaPorte.
Let me remember the real name.
I need you to find the name of Hookman Road in LaPorte. I am going right now. I'm leaving the show and taking it on the road.
It's called Orr Lake Road, O-R-R.
Orr Lake Road.
It's a really windy road next to a swamp. There's also a legend that some mobster from Chicago would take people there and,
That's why I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. Well, the other famous haunted road out that way would be Stagecoach Road that runs from Porter and Portage in Chesterton.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as much. I heard of that one. That one, that's towards the lake?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a little over. I just looked it up. Yeah, that one's a little over from LaPorte. That's more where you guys are at, kind of.
Fair enough. Okay, that's a little bit of a hike. But, Kristen, thank you so much for calling in and telling me that. I had no idea LaPorte had a Hookman story. Did you?
I had no idea.
That's amazing. Kyle, did you know that?
I did not know that.
Kristen, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Have a good night, y'all.
You too.
What about that? We got to drive to LaPorte.
I'm 100% driving to LaPorte to go look for the Hookman.
Then we got to go to
Then we got to
go look for.
So what we're gonna do, by the way, did you get in touch with Philip about last week's episode?
He's never heard of it, Bob. But
okay, so
that doesn't mean it's not out there.
So last week, because I know you didn't pay attention to the show, there is a haunted dog-faced bridge. It's called in what is those?
San Pierre
in Indiana, which is south of Valpo.
Okay.
And the story goes that I'm not going to go into it because you could listen to the episode. But I will just tell you that there's a ghost.
Tell me enough. Pretend like I'm not going to listen to that episode.
Okay. There is stories of a dog-headed, female-bodied ghost. Not a physical, concrete like Dogman or werewolf story. A ghost.
With a dog head.
A dog head and a female
human body.
On a female human bipedal body. So what this means is, because I'm going to that bridge to go get to the bottom of that, I'm also going to take a stop in LaPorte because it's all kind of along the way. And I'm going to go look for the LaPorte Hookman. Thank you, Kristen, for calling in. See, it's funny because I've lived in this area. LaPorte's like that. That's not where I live. That's out in the sticks. But I will tell you that like it's interesting because it's still close enough to home, and I still learn things about our area all the time.
Do you know what's fascinating? Full circle. Is this place not only does it have a hook man, it also has people claim that there's the half man, half dog.
What? There is not a half man, half dog story at Blue Mist Road.
Yeah, there is.
Please hit me.
I need to. I'm surprised you didn't.
Is this wait? Let me be clear here. Let me get this straight.
So we're just
there's
telling
a dog,
stories.
There's a dog-faced woman. There's a woman's body with a dog's head, and then there's a. Steve's now telling me there's a half man, half dog. But
yes,
is it the man's head with the dog, or is it the man's head on the dog body? Or
was it a dog man story, or was it a half man, half dog?
What's going on here?
I'm trying to relook it up, but I know I saw it.
I literally left that for you.
It was there's reports of people being chased by a human dog hybrid.
So like a dog man, like an actual cryptid.
Yeah.
Not like a ghost of a dog head on a female body.
No.
Okay, so there's cryptid stories out of this thing too.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Oh, hey, we have a person in the studio. I'm turning
that's
around.
Scary for a second.
I'm like, is the dog-faced woman here?
It's
Jeez.
AJ back here.
Hey, AJ, how's it going? Anyway,
he's not the dog man.
Is he?
He's a man, but he's not a dog.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, do you know what? I remember seeing some. I could not find any more further details than that.
I love when you do research into the paranormal and they'll just throw a sentence out there, no claim to back it up. You'll be reading something and it's like, and then the two gravestones, if they touch, like I just did, and the two gravestones, if they touch, the world's gonna end. Where did you get that from? Where did we go from 0 to 100?
It's such the paranormal investigation and cryptozoology and like all this kind of stuff. It's so mind-blowingly bizarre because like you said, you'll get like, this is literally, I'll show it to you. It's literally just it's in a list of things that people have reported, and it just says chased by a human-dog hybrid.
And you're just supposed to take that with a grain of salt and be like, oh yeah, makes sense.
And there's no other details. I can find no other details anywhere else. But it's on multiple sites saying that people have been chased by a human-dog hybrid. What that means, I have no clue. Is it hooey? Probably.
Hooey.
But it's there. It's there.
Yes. What else have you discovered? Because you said you came with research.
I did. No, you went through a lot of it.
Did you look at the same website I did?
I looked at like 5 websites, and they all have the same information.
Yes.
Which is crazy. The one interesting thing I would like to say, so for those of you that are not as familiar with me as the co-host, I am the more science-minded one. I look at facts. I look at numbers. I look at those kinds of things, and I consider myself a skeptical believer on a lot of these things. That being said, first off, there's no traceable history to any of these legends. There's been no actual, like we said with the Klan rallies, there's been no documentation of that there. There's been no documentation of any kind of witches. There's been no kind of documentation of, any of the of that these are actually lovers. There's no documentation of any of this. So all of this is truly lore.
Urban legend.
It's all truly urban legend and lore. But let me play on, for the rare instance, devil's advocate.
Yes.
The Pittsburgh area is surrounded by rivers.
Yes.
This road is right next to a full stream, a moving, active stream.
Yes.
What that doesn't tell you, what the hiking guide page that you researched doesn't tell you,
Yes.
I went on Google Maps and I did a full Google Maps search of this place.
That's great.
Yeah. There's a large lake there as well.
Yeah, they said that in the article.
I don't think so. I would have
I believe I just said it sits next to a large lake.
That doesn't sound right.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, paranormal activity is often associated with water.
Yes.
So what's to say that maybe some of this is accurate? What's to say that maybe sightings of like the orbs are possibly theoretically possible because of this?
Yeah, bodies of water are conduits of energy.
Right. Everything else, hooey. But let's just say that is true.
Yes.
What would cause that? Why do you think that would be the only thing? We'll play devil's advocate.
Yes, that's fine. My first theory going into it that this thing was sitting on a massive ley line, and that's a giant lightning rod for the paranormal. That is a traffic light in the extraterrestrial and whatever express. So it could have been sitting on a giant ley line. The bodies of water help, but it's it'd be fine if it had a consistent story, but it goes from like cryptid dogman to gravestones touching and ending the world. That's where I draw the line, is the gravestone story. So whether or not there's I don't know, if whether or not that story's true is a whole nother thing.
I guess my question is what would cause so many people to make this story?
Word of mouth. Same reason why Reeder Road right here in Griffith is considered super haunted in like Northwest Indiana, and that's like everybody's first paranormal investigation as a kid when you live in the area.
Right.
And there is no truth to any of it, but they'll tell you that there's, and I heard 10 different stories from people over the years, ranging from the mad reverend who burned the church down with everybody in it, and if you walk in there at midnight, there's a creepy man in black that stalks the road. I heard of the monster of the weeds that would jump out and grab your ankles. It's a creepy road next to a very old cemetery, and mist comes in off the lake, and I saw pictures and YouTube clips of it. The mist that comes in off the lake covers the trail in such a way that it's like thick. It's like a Hollywood smoke screen, like you set it down and you could walk through the fog.
Right.
But that's a legitimate scientific thing that happens. And the reason why they call it blue mist is because sometimes with the light of the moon, it makes it look a tinge of blue. So this, in my opinion, is a local place that a bunch of people just started building legends off of. I'm not going to say there's not ghostly activity that happens there, but there's not consistent things. There's a witch's house. There's a cryptid of a dogman. There's feral small people that have a village there that will come out and beat you with weapons if you stop your car.
There's end of the world.
There's end of the world tombstones. That's where I draw the line. End of the world tombstones. There's not like, you look at Archer.
You're gonna feel really stupid when those two touch together.
Yeah, and the world ends. I'm gonna be like, should have went there and saved it, I guess. That'd be the easiest job I would have ever done. But anyway, actually, no, it sounds like a lot of physical labor. Have you ever tried lifting a headstone? I have, to repair them.
They're in there deep. Yeah.
I put some up when they've knocked over, and they're not. It's not an easy task. But that's where I draw the line. I have to say that's ridiculous, and people just. But you look at if you look at the stories of Archer Avenue right here in the South Side in Chicago, that entire stretch of Archer Avenue is haunted, but they're all consistent haunted ghost stories. We have Resurrection Mary being the big one, among other things. You have the Saint. I just did a tour there. Panic, where were we at for the cemetery? The graveyard, technically, because it's on hollow ground. What church is that? Is that St. James?
Which one are you talking about?
The one we were on the bus tour. Remember?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah, St. James. That's on Archer Avenue, and they have the hauntings there and stuff. But it's all consistent where you go. Here, it's just like, we're going to throw a bunch of things at the wall until it sticks. I even have here another eyewitness report written on Reddit. So this is written on
And we're using eyewitness report very loosely. On all
loosely,
of
yes.
these.
But here's another one. I just want to read you another thing.
Please.
So about 5 or 10 miles north of the city of Pittsburgh. By the way, this is on our No Sleep, and this is written by Ghost Beezer 11 years ago.
Sounds like the most reputable source.
So, quick idea, No Sleep is a thread on Reddit that tells scary stories, and they usually are about true paranormal experiences. Anyway, about 5 or 10 miles north of the city of Pittsburgh is a park with an incredibly clever name of North Park, which is probably the best part of the story so far. It serves as a kind of little nature reserve that separates several different communities from on each end. There are a few housing plans within North Park itself, but most are filthy rich variety. By day, there's nothing really scary about the park. It has some heavily wooded, isolated areas, but for the most part, it's pretty well traveled if you never feel too far from help, should something arise. At night, however, the park can be a very dangerous place, or a very different place. Anyone who's lived in the area for an extended period of time probably has or at least heard a story or two. I myself have probably heard 4 or 5 of my own stories to tell, not counting those I've heard from friends or families. And this is one such tale that they supposedly experienced. Probably the most popular story going around when I was in junior high and high school was the story of the Blue Mist Road. There isn't really one single story, and in fact, as often as the case with these road stories, there are several different roads people claim to be the Blue Mist Road. The real Blue Mist Road is Irwin Road, a rather unassuming road that cuts off on one of the main roads near kind of in a major intersection. There is a road closed sign at the top that needs to be ignored, and special care needs to be taken not to be seen entering the road. Some tales surrounding the road include racist gatherings and unfortunate timely ends, hanging trees, haunted graveyards, a witch in the wood, and some kind of mutant man beast, which is probably that werewolf story you're referring to.
Yeah.
I can only relate to you with what I saw the very last time I dared to venture down Blue Mist Road. Do with it what you will. I guess the year would have been right around 1998, so we would have still been safe from Woodstock 99. That's a joke, by the way, everybody. I hope somebody laughed at that. That wasn't Steve. I guess the year would have been around 1998 when my friends and I took to the highways and byways, making them much more dangerous places to be. At least they're honest. It didn't take us long for us to use our newfound vehicle freedom and to investigate some local haunts we'd hear so much about while growing up. Blue Mist Road, being one of the most popular legends around Pittsburgh, was one of our first haunted destinations. We learned of the location from my older brother, and one weekend after a little deliberation, we packed into my buddy Chris's car and drove off to North Park. When we got to our destination, Chris turned the headlights off and slowly rolled off the main road onto Blue Mist Road. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, so we were the only car in the park and didn't want to call attention to ourselves. At the top of the road is a gate with a road closed sign, and my friend Sean got out, opened the gate, and we rolled through, as you do. Sean got back in the car, and we started down the road, which slopes down into a wooded valley away from the main road. Once we were below Main Street level, Chris flipped the headlights back on, and we crept along the dark, unpaved road. I can't remember if it was dirt or more gravelly at first, but eventually it was just a dirt road. I do remember that the trees hung low and was very close to the car, brushing along the sides of the road, constantly scraped up the window and the siding of Chris's tempo, the car. Once we got towards the floor of the valley, we could see the road's namesake waiting for us at the bottom. There in the middle of the road, and sewn amongst a tree, was a thick, radiant pool of blue fog. We slowly rolled forward, the mist swirling in the headlights, then up and over the car. I recall looking up into the trees overhead through the thick fog and seeing countless bodies strung from the branches. At least that's what it looked like. I quickly averted my eyes and didn't look up there again. Eventually, we came to another gate. We went through this one too and continued on. A little further in, the brush on the side opened up, putting an end to the constant hissing, and we decided to get out and look around on foot. There were said to be in an area of an old cabin what amounted to a witch. Up the hill a little ways off from the left side of the road, this is exactly what we found. Looking back on it now, it was eerie how much that cabin reminded me of the Blair Witch Project. There were 2 structures, actually. One was a little bit more than ruins. Recklessly, we entered the still-standing shack, and it was insane in there. A pentagram in red paint was there, candles, jar of grotesque-looking things, old rag and tomes strewn about on the floor. This is all crap, by the way, guys. Real witches don't just hang out in the woods and do things in cabins with red-painted pentagrams.
Just the cool ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, most of them hang out at their houses and, like, put their water in their backyard and they'll do their rituals and stuff. This is like Hollywood witchcraft, I'm telling you. It's not the same thing. We all stood there frozen, looking up towards the hazy blue portal at the top of the steps that opened up as we entered. So this opened up a blue portal. The silhouette of an old, gray-looking woman materialized in from the right. She was facing the left at first, but she turned to face of us at the bottom of the stairs. I saw a blue light reflected in her milky white eyes. They were completely white. Her mouth was open in an evil grin and said nothing of kindness, but spoke entirely of bad intentions. At that point, I began backing up and waving my arms slowly at first, and then frantically. Let's go, I mumbled, before turning and running out the front door. Let's go, I shouted. I heard my friend's footsteps stop behind me, but didn't check to make sure they were following. Halfway down the hill, running to the car, I heard a whisper carried out in the wind. It was deceptively veiled in a shaky tone and a kind of an old woman, but I knew better, and I could feel the menace behind it. Come back, it rasped. Don't leave me. I leapt into the back seat of the car and began beating on the driver's side headrest. Come on, I said as I watched my friend scrambling down the hill towards me. Did you hear her? Chris said as he jumped in the car, jammed it back in the park, and spun the car in the opposite direction. I didn't answer, and neither did anyone else. We just wanted to get away from there ASAP. Suddenly, I was thrown forward in the back of Chris's seat when the car scuttled to a halt. In front of us, closed, was the second gate we came through. This was not the worst part, however. After getting my bearings, I noticed the trees to my left, about 15 feet away, barely visible in the blue fog, was a dark, black shadow shaped like a man. Then I became aware of the others. We were surrounded on by all sides from these black shadow figures, all staggered through the woods around us, enveloped in a shroud of thick blue mist. The only way out was closed off. I'm not going out there, no way, Sean said, shaking his head, and I sat with my hand on the door handle, ready to burst it open and bolt towards the fence, kick the latch off, and sprint back in the car. As soon as I clicked the handle, the shadow closest to me sprang forth, rushing towards the door with inhuman speed. I could now see it was at least 7 feet tall. I quickly pulled the door shut and hammered the lock. At that moment, Chris slammed on the gas and the car peeled out for a second, then lurched forward, smashing into, thankfully, through the gate. We sped through the fog, Chris not caring that he could barely see the road ahead. Hell, he had already undoubtedly smashed up the front end a bit. On all sides of the cars, bodies swung and thumped and scraped and shadows shifting in the light through the blue mist. Eventually, we emerged from the fog, and thankfully the first gate was open. I don't think Chris would have stopped even if it wasn't. He continued on the main road with his foot still buried on the floor, and that was the last time we ever visited the Blue Mist Road. I hear hooey in your head. You don't even have to say it.
Hooey.
Hooey, he says.
It's like he was in the Blair Witch Project, but then like it turned to the end of Ghost at some point. Man's a good storyteller, but hooey.
Hooey.
All hooey.
No woman jumping out of a blue portal at the top of some stairs.
Look, man, I've been doing paranormal investigation for way too long, 20 years.
Sure.
And never once have I heard of a blue portal, or any portal for that matter, opening up and then outstepping a ghost. Hooey.
Okay. I panic.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from you in a while.
Bob, it's not hooey.
Oh, he's
I don't know. It might be a bunch of hooey. I don't know.
He's been playing solitaire.
I've been trying to search out more Dog Man and Dog. What's more? I asked Bob this last week. Steve, what's more terrifying? We'll go back to the woman here. A woman, a dog's head on a woman's body, or a woman's head on a dog's body.
What
are you more terrified of?
Okay, it depends on what the dog is. Because like if it's like no, this is fair. If it's like Mars Attacks and it's like on a Chihuahua body, not terrifying.
No.
But if it's like a Rottweiler head
Yeah.
on like a woman body, that's terrifying. So I mean, I guess
So
it just depends
either
on what the dog is.
So that goes for body type too. If it's on a woman's head on Chihuahua's body,
yeah,
it's still less terrifying than a woman's head on like a Great Dane's body. Or something.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a
Depends
woman's head on like a German Shepherd just sprinting towards me, that would be terrifying. But if it was like on a Chihuahua, I'd be like, that's adorable.
Can we go back to the Blue Mist Road?
Sorry, I had to ask that question.
I was answering a very legitimate question.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you for asking #Steve's Take.
Yeah, we asked a hard question.
Oh my God.
Are you not a fan of Mars Attacks?
I love Mars Attacks.
Okay, so then
movie.
I
get the reference.
You're familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So the last thing I want to bring up about this Blue Mist Road is a blog post I found from blogspot.com. You want to talk about some dated things?
Wow, we're going retro tonight with our sources.
You went on AOL.
I want you guys to know that this article is from way back in 2010.
Bob's getting sources from AIM chat rooms.
AIM chat rooms and Angel Fire websites. Angel Fire web pages. Jeez, that takes me back. But,
Bob's got a CompuServe email address. It's crazy.
I do not have a CompuServe email address. Jason, our friend Jason, still uses Netscape, though. Like he doesn't listen to the show, but if he does, he'll get a laugh. Okay, so why I'm reading this article, it's relevant. Because people are arguing in here about living in the area. And it's an interesting argument. So it's 29 articles, and it's literally the blog post talks about like the same thing: spectral dog, half deer, half human, mutant, hang out around there. There's the hanging tree, yada yada. We covered all this except
half deer,
half deer, half human.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah,
okay.
but it just says there's a
just,
story of a half human, half deer.
It's a throwaway line. Yeah.
Yes.
I hate this job.
And of course, we talk about the we're just going to call, I don't know what we're going to call them, but the bad group of people, there's stories about them and whatnot. And
yeah,
of course, and the hanging tree, et cetera, nonsense. So blog post, the blogger person here, I'll even quote him. It's from Ron Isiri on hauntsandhistory.blogspot.com. He's going to wonder why he got so many hits this week.
He's going to be like, 80 views.
Wow, I'm impressed. Oh, look, dude, he wrote a really good article about it.
I forgot I had this page.
Anyway, so Anonymous writes, I have lived within a half mile of...
Also, that's a great way to start. The Anonymous writes.
Anonymous writes, Anonymous writes, I have lived within a half mile of the Blue Mist Road for the past 20 years. The only thing haunted or spooky about that road is what people have it out to be. As a history buff, I have researched the area extensively over the years. There is at least 2 foundations of homes on the road. One was torn down and the other had a fire. No deaths have ever happened on that road. The graves from earlier settlers are there. The graves are from early settlers, and they are 80 years apart. None of them could have been in the dates near enough to be lovers.
Shocker.
As for the orbs and as for the photographer, as a photographer, I can deduce that this is both from the pollen and dust on the dirt gravel road, and I have photographed paranormal phenomena many times, but the amateurs at the Pittsburgh ghost hunters can't tell the difference. So this person had beef. This person had beef with the Pittsburgh ghost hunters.
That's
what now we know why. Now we know why they wrote themselves as anonymous.
I like anonymous,
but they said nope. Blue Mist Road's crap. It's not real.
I think that's the most believable thing I have heard all night.
Yes, but it gets better. Here's another anonymous. Anonymous writes, I am 98 years of age. I used to live on the Blue Mist Road. Honey, let me tell you, it's not false, nor are they lies. The bad people did gather there, and they did have rallies, and they did unfortunately end several people. They also had satanic gatherings where they did slaughter many animals of every size. As far as the graveyard, they dug them up and stole all the belongings of value and scattered the remains all over the graveyard. There was also a young gentleman who was murdered by tree. I do admit over the years people have added to the story. Most of it's true. Most of it is untrue. But I can assure you the bad people did gather there, and there was a poor child that was unfortunately murdered. My father worked for the park back in those days, and everything was hush-hush, not to be spoken about. On the left side of the road where there's our grass and marsh is a massive amount of skeleton remains, which are now probably under the dirt from all the years of elements. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, would you like to know how Anonymous ended this post?
Yes.
Mrs. X. 98 years old, writing that long thing. Are you calling Mohui?
I am. Okay. Look, I for one particular reason.
Yes.
How many 98-year-olds know how to use a computer in 1998?
This was in 2010.
2010. That well.
Maybe this Mrs. X apparently.
That Marge Simpson.
I was hoping you would say that. So, Blue Mist Road, an interesting story of a place north of Pittsburgh that just happens to be a little on the spooky side, and that's how you get all of those legends just brought up. And it's interesting how a spooky-looking area can spawn stories of half-human, half-deer, werewolf creatures.
And the end of the world.
Steve, haunted or not, or hooey?
Hashtag hooey.
Panic, haunted or hooey?
You know what? I'm going to say haunted because I want you to be the tiebreaker, Bob.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
So what are you saying?
Haunted.
I'm going with hooey.
Oh, come on, Bob.
I'm going with hooey. This is just, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm a believer. Everybody knows that. I believe in the paranormal and the unusual. But sometimes stories are just that. They're stories.
Right.
Sometimes they're parables to tell kids to avoid, walking to the water so they don't drown. Those are important stories to tell. Urban legends are a very important part of what I do because it gives me basis of things. I'm not going to tell you everything in those stories are wrong. I'm going to say that there's a potential that there is some odd, mysterious happenings going on there. Where'd these stories come from? They couldn't have all just, over time, it becomes a game of,
It's telephone.
It's telephone, exactly. And it builds up over time, and you just get more ridiculous. Where did it come from? Do I believe that this girl was out there making out with her boyfriend, and then he got slaughtered and hung from a tree, and then there was a sigil painted on the roof of her car in that time? No, absolutely not. Do I believe that there was a dog man maybe in that area? Sure. Do I believe that there could be a ghost? Maybe. Do I believe that feral people exist? Yes. It is very possible there is a camp of feral people out there that don't want to be bothered by modern society. We have those types of folk in the world. They exist. So out of everything there, I'm going to tell you that I believe in the feral people community. I believe that there could be some spectral nonsense going on, but a Hollywood-style witch living out in the woods with like a red pentagram and stuff, I'm going to tell you if that part was real, thems were kids going in there, breaking in, acting like idiots.
Yeah, I just feel like, first off, I think you brought up a good point about the reality of what lure is.
Yeah.
This show, a lot of times we talk about very abstract things.
Yes.
And, we talk about UFOs, and we talk about ghosts, and we talk about Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and Johnny Appleseed and all these other crazy things.
Uh-huh.
But the reality is this is a show about legends and lure.
Yes.
And this very firmly falls into that category.
Yes.
There's zero proof that any of this happened. There is zero historical documentation that any of this truly happened.
Yep.
And aside from Mrs. X, no one, there's been zero proof of any kind of rallies, any kind of hangings, any kind of none of that.
Right.
So I think it's important that we have shows like this.
Yes.
Instead of just is it there? Maybe, I don't know. But to have a show where we're like, hooey, I think is important.
Yes. I'm not going to say that there's not something going on there. There's a very well could be something going on, but to the extent of this place, if all of these stories were true, that place would be like Parapalooza.
Yeah.
Every paranormal investigator would be out there every night. Every crack shot cryptid hunter, yes, they exist, would be out there with their firearms.
Yep.
That place would be a madhouse.
It'd be a zoo. It'd be a complete zoo.
Because they're even talking about lights that pop up and flash away. So there's even potential UFO sightings here. So now you have UFOologists out there.
Yeah.
That place would be a disaster.
Yeah, there's a reason why this place is empty.
Yes.
Because none of it has been proven, and none of it is.
No, you would have
very likely none of it is true.
And there are videos of paranormal investigation groups going out there and doing research on the place. I watched several videos. It is a very eerie, remote place.
Yeah.
But the truest thing about those stories that I can tell you is probably concrete real is the concept of feral people. Because that is a real thing that exists even in 2024.
But flip side to that, and there's no doubt that that's a thing.
Yeah.
The flip side to that is we're not talking about a massive wooded area.
No.
We're talking about an area that's actually, if you look, like there's a McDonald's down the street from this park. So this isn't a place where there would be feral groups living.
But that's not true, though, because I've seen feral people take refuge in, like, the Cook County Forest Preserve when there's O'Hare Airport, like, 30 seconds away.
Right, but those are also larger woods.
Sure, okay, fine, I'll give you that.
You know, this is more parkland as opposed to woods.
Sure.
And that's that's my only difference.
No, and I get you with that too. I'm not
saying it's not possible.
No.
I know that they exist.
Yes. I'm saying out of everything I've heard tonight, that is my most plausible.
That would be the most believable.
Yes,
thing
out of anything. And
100%.
Because they exist. There are people out there, even in America, you'd be surprised. There are feral communities still in today's time, and they do not take kind to outsiders, anybody.
Right.
And they stick to their way, and that's the end of it. 100% true.
Yep.
Count, did you just say you wanted it to be haunted to cause a stir?
I want it to be haunted, Bob.
Do you actually believe it's haunted, or?
It might be a lot of hoopla, Bob, but that's the point of the show is discussion, Bob.
Where do you, out of all the stories we talked about tonight, what do you think's the most plausible for you?
I think it's the dog man.
Okay. Jeez.
We're going to LaPorte and we're going to Saint Pierre. We're gonna find these dog men, dog women, and
remember, Saint Pierre, we're going for the dog, and then in LaPorte, we're going after the hook man.
Hook man, yeah.
So, Count Panic, got any words for the audience this evening to leave with?
Yeah, Bob. Again, as we're filming this, if you haven't done it already, you got a little bit of time to eat that punchki.
Yes.
Before the next day, which is Valentine's Day. So remember, ladies, I'm on the prowl tonight. What?
The Bob After Dark inbox is going to get flooded. Flooded.
Got to moderate that room.
Folks, I will auction Count Panic off for charity for a date.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do it. We're going to do a Bob After Dark Bachelor auction.
The way you
There's
said that,
like James from Peoria. We have Count Panic, Ben, Dr. Van Anderson. We're going to do a Bob After Dark Bachelor auction.
God bless.
Or we do like a reality show where.
Jeez. Panics. I got to think about how I would do that. Counting
it's Bite of Love.
Counting loves.
Counting love.
Jeez. All right. Steve, what's going on in your life? You have. Hold on. All right, guys, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com.
Actually, I have news.
Oh, okay.
I have news. If you followed my social media, you would have known that.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I was screwing around, but go on.
Yeah. I have real news. I have something to announce that I haven't publicly talked about. But on Monday, the 17th, which is this coming Monday.
Yes.
Yours truly will be featured on Spotlight Chicago on WGN TV.
Wow.
Yes.
They're doing a full segment about me, about my career,
nice.
About what I'm doing at OVW, and my upcoming title match at Rocket Pro Wrestling.
And that you co-host Bob After
Yeah,
Dark.
it'll come up.
That you co-host Bob After Dark.
It'll come up. Bob After Dark will come up. I'll be like, I'm the star of this podcast and whatever. But
okay.
But no, it's a big deal thing.
Yes.
It's going to be WGN Spotlight Chicago, Monday, February 17th. It airs 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time, right before the early evening news. So please watch that. Please catch that.
Nice.
I'm down at OVW still. You can watch that. We're streaming the full shows on YouTube.
That's great.
Now to make it more accessible. So you can watch every Thursday on YouTube. We're still on. Fight is now called Triller TV. You can watch us there as well still. And then coming up on Saturday, March 2nd, at St. Joseph Park in Joliet, Illinois, Steve Michaels is going to be wrestling for the RPW heavyweight title. And it's a match that has been long overdue. So if you are in the Chicagoland area, it will be a match. It will be a show that you will not want to miss. And it will sell out. RPW has been selling out the building thanks to yours truly on a monthly basis. So if you're going to go, make sure you're there early. Tickets are on sale at the door. $15 for general admission, $20 for front row. There's no better deal than that anywhere.
Good talk. ProWrestlingTees.com/Chicago Bear Hug. Go there for all of your Steve Michaels merchandise. Discount code at the end. Discount code Bob After Dark for 15% off on your purchase. Order all of your Steve Michaels merch at ProWrestlingTees.com. Follow Steve Michaels wherever you will follow the social medias at Chicago Bear Hug. Are you on Threads?
I am on Threads.
Are you on Threads as Chicago Bear Hug?
I am on Threads at Chicago Bear Hug.
That's good to know. Bob After Dark, everybody. Again, the Twitch schedule, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Mondays, I'm doing a Windy City Ghostbusters stream. On Tuesdays, I'm here in the studio, but you guys can check me out. Twitch.tv/Bob After Dark Plays. Full schedule is up on there. You can follow Bob After Dark wherever you find social media at Bob After Dark, and back on Twitter at the Bob After Dark.
And if you want to meet us, you can.
I like that. I like that you're back on Twitter. You got the Bob After Dark.
It's called the Bob After Dark.
Don't mix it up with Bob After Dark or
Bob
After Dark 1. This is the Bob After Dark. THE.
Yes.
Not the THEE. This is the
Bob After Dark.
The Bob After Dark.
Yeah, no, somebody actually took Bob After Dark and then Bob After Dark 1. I was like, that's stupid. So the Bob After Dark was the name I came up with.
That's good. That's
so
a good one.
you guys can follow me on Twitter there. And anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching and listening to another episode of Bob After Dark. On behalf of me and the team, we just want to say goodnight to all of you. Mom, you're probably already in bed, but goodnight to you. Dad, wherever you are in the universe, I hope you're happy, comfortable, and doing whatever it is that you want to be. And the Tiff, happy early Valentine's Day, sweetie. I love you very much. I normally don't call you out like that, but I love you. Happy Valentine's Day to you, sweetheart. To the rest of you guys, remember the two most important rules of Bob After Dark are not all who wander are lost, and as above, so below. Until next time.
Memoriam Development.
Go.